Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Darkside Walker, and today we've got well, I could have gone for the Yin Yang Challenge again, but I think instead, what I'm going to do is actually... Pardon me. Just finished eating breakfast, and apparently I wanted to say hello. Today I'm going to do a run that was suggested to me a little while back, and I've kind of been thinking about it a little bit, and kind of refining what I was planning on doing with it. And this is about what I've got, so I would shout out the person who gave me the idea, but it was a while ago and it was on a YouTube comment, so I've since forgotten, so I apologize for that. But if you know who you are, feel free to speak up in this video. But the idea on this particular video is, or this particular run I should say, is that basically all of my Arcana are going to be based around moves that involve that's where we're going to be starting to front load the difficulty and try to make things a little easier on ourselves in the long run. Is that all of our moves are based on essentially things that involve an actual physical strike. So, to give you an idea, Spark Contact is kind of like a series of rapid palm strikes. This is just a nice big, a nice thrust kick right there. And then, of course, breaking stone, kind of like that. Basically, what we've got going on is a monk build, which, again, due to how I like to roll, I will be looking. Pardon me. I will be looking for other Arcana that involve things like, you know, a strike or a series of strikes. That would be like Burn Cycle or things that involve a big flying kick like Binary Splashdown. Which means that unfortunately for me, I need to. Oops. That's right. They got pushed away from each other. God, this room is annoying. So I'll be straying away from things that just throw things, which again, that's to my chagrin, but also probably just for the interest of having an interesting run here. Chainmail, which does mean that for the interest of my own sanity, instead of just going all out all the time, and you know, playing around with the idea that I'm actually trying to be a talented monk in combat, you know, think like a Jet Li or something along those lines. And I know Jet Li wasn't exactly a monk, but right now I'm kind of thinking about his role in the movie. What is it? God, I love this movie, and now I can't remember the name. It was like a kung fu fantasy movie. It starred him, Jackie Chan, and unspecified white guy. It was actually a pretty decent movie as far as kung fu films go, but what is it? Forbidden Kingdom, I think is the name of it. But yeah, I'm thinking about his role there, where he kind of looked like just a traveling monk. Ooh, here we go. So we'll take Spark Contact. Seismic Entry is a possibility, but I am going to wait on that because I want to see what relics are available. Seismic Entry would make it... Hold on. Seismic Entry would make a very good evasive option. And you all know how I feel about the Jump Arcana. I probably like them a little bit more than most. Oh, hello. I can't help but think that Crimson Clover would be ideal in this situation. And it again kind of apes the idea of highly skilled, well-trained monk being able to strike at just the right spot. Combine that with the proper amount of power, and you've got yourself one hell of an unstoppable warrior. At least I'm hoping that's the case. I could just, suck. I'm actually really happy with that dodge, even though it's like I shouldn't be bragging, but I feel as though that particular dodge was actually very well done. And especially considering how I've been playing the last couple of runs, and ow. I don't know, it felt good, is what I'm getting at. That dodge felt good. Wait for my skills to recharge. Alright, what do we got? I see 3 things here that I like. And I'm obviously not going to be able to afford all of them. But if I play my cards right... So let's take Wallet of Vigor. Surefire Rocket. And then let's wait and see what else I can find. What else I can find money-wise before we commit ourselves to taking a bunch of damage to buy stuff. Okay, you gotta go. You gotta go. There we go. That's looking pretty solid. Alright, so now the question becomes, do I want to pick up not Surefire Rocket, do I want to pick up Seismic Entry? Because I can come back here and grab the Sleepy Thunderstone. I think I'm going to be better off waiting for a different opportunity. Though looking at it again, Seismic Entry would have helped against the Wonder Twins. Yeah, I just forgot who my final challenge was. Oh, I completely forgot to mention, we're going to be starting with the Cartographer's Quill, because to me that kind of creates the idea of a traveling monk becoming more talented and strong as he continues his travels. There we go. Which does mean that I'm going to be exploring every corner of the map, so if that annoys you guys, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but, tough cookies, that's what's happening. And yes, I did see Burn Cycle over there, but I'm going to make sure that I've gotten the correct amount of money first. And I don't want to just spend health for everything. Oh, hello, Sturdy Shoebox. What are you? For each Movement Arcana equipped. Okay, I guess I have some Movement Arcana equipped. And it's a good thing that there are a few Arcana that I'm looking to pick up, because there's nothing here that's really... raffle ticket, that's about it. Well, what about Indra's Copper Fight? The other things that shock? doesn't really do enough for me to justify spending 175. Alright, now we've got the portal open, we can come back here whenever we want. Oh, so I've been looking into some other games to play for the channel, just fun things to play potentially just because they look like good games. And a couple of them stood out, and I already kind of posed the question about sorry, my memory is horrible. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say here. Come on, brain. Oh yeah, I had already posed the question about Cyber Shadow, considering that I was just recently doing something that really called back to Ninja Gaiden. I guess we're taking Seismic Entry. It's probably for the best that I didn't pick it up then, because I just got it for free. Alright, there's more map to explore. It must be further south. Oh, yep, I see where the rest of the map is. This is a very north-south oriented map this time around. Yeah, that's what you get. Oh, and I guess Seismic Entry is also movement-based, because that just increased my maximum health, too. Hello, sir. What do you have for me today? Oh, Mercenary's Dagger is not good this early. I'll be losing too much money. So yeah, that's a no thanks for me. There we go. Looking good. Yeah, buddy. And then now we'll take Burn Cycle. Interestingly enough, when this idea was first brought up to me, the first thing I thought of was Burn Cycle. It's like, oh, that's just a big combo of punches and kicks. That would be perfect. Bloof. As far as why I went with Chaotic Rift, I really didn't have a good handle on what dash I was going to use. So I figured I would go with the one that seems to make the most sense for weaving in and out of combats. And this is the one that made the most sense for me. And to be fair, swinging weapons is kind of monk-like, but I'm trying to stick to things that are just unarmed strikes. And if we're going to be a powerful wandering monk, we can't always rely on weapons. And since there's nothing here that uses the staff, which to me really is a really good idea for just a traveling monk, or not a good idea, but it's a very interesting design choice for a traveling monk. I'm just gonna stick with this. Again, I like the idea of the saber, and it does pair well with the Wallet of Vigor, at least in the point of I can still buy things. But that's also a lot of damage to ascend. That's a lot of damage to commit yourself to just to buy items, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. Again, I like the idea that it's an option, and I do have a very power-based build. But I'm not sure if it's worth it. Right now, I'm sure there's about half of you going, ah, come on, fear's for the weak, and another part of you going, but discretion is the better part of valor. And you know, you're both right. Just making sure that we're on the same page here. But I do think it would be playing a little too reckless with my health. And Iris has basically nothing that I want. Yeah, big axe. Yeah, bubble blowing. Yeah, there's nothing here I want. You don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that I hate all of my options. It just means that, you know, they're not really conducive to this build. Like, the closest thing I saw there to something I would use for, you know, Mr. Unarmed Monk here would be, like, the tendrils. Man, you know what? Yay. I will buy that, though. We've learned how to draw strength from our opponent's chakras and turn that into our own power, which is a really cheesy way of saying I gain health every time I land a critical hit. Which again pairs very nicely with that Crimson Clover find. And because we're also getting stronger with each bit of the map we unlock, where is that at right now? Just about 12. I love it. Love it, love it. There we go. So Dark Sage, would you call this a one run already? Very close to it. I can still see some things going wrong, but for the most part I'd say this is already a one run, so why don't I talk about another game I've been interested in? And actually this is another one that just recently came out. It's not necessarily an older one, but I just recently watched a review for a game called Blue Fire, which is out on both PC and Switch, and it kind of caught my attention, as it looks like this very interesting 3D amalgamation of Hollow Knight and a Zelda game. And, well, I mean, you know how I feel about Hollow Knight, and I've been a Zelda fan for a while, so I'm naturally very interested. Oh, It's also a very rare in amongst the indie developer circles, because it's actually a 3D game, not a 2D one. Which, to be fair, I have nothing against that. I have nothing against 2D games, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm an old school gamer from the NES era. If I had a problem with 2D games, I would be the biggest hypocrite in the world. You know, right next to, you know, most politicians. We'll definitely be taking the amulet. Increases duration of your shock status effects. That won't mean anything on the next floor anyway, so who cares? I only bring it up because, yeah, a lot of the new indie titles that have come out have been 2D games. Skull the Hero Slayer, even as far back as, I mean, I guess it wasn't that far back, but Dead Cells is 2D Roguemania. Like a lot of the indie games that come out are 2D games, and there's a good reason for that. Iris, why are you refusing to upgrade the Arcana that I have that need upgrading? I mean, our Seismic Entry and Burn Cycle just chop liver to you. Don't get me wrong, I love Gale Force alignment, but under the rules of my own challenge, I cannot take that. I can somewhat justify bouncing bubbles, so I might come back for that. Even though it is kind of cheating, I can justify maybe one or two projectiles under the pretense of this is our traveling monk here learning to control his ki and learning how to launch energy-based attacks like that. So you're justifying it with Dragon Ball logic? Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, yeah, the characters in Dragon Ball could basically be considered monks. They're all, in D&D terms, they're all at least monk class. In real honesty, I'm probably not even going to use that for a while because it's just not necessarily what the run is built around. And I'm having an easy enough time with things as is. But as I was saying, you don't see a lot of indie developers making 3D games because, frankly, it is harder to develop a three-dimensional game. Making no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's not just me making excuses for the devs here. It is just harder to develop a three-dimensional game. There's more space to there's a whole nother dimension to work with. Along with that, more things that can go wrong. So trust me, I get why more indie games aren't three-dimensional, but this particular one, it looks nice. Now, one thing that the review brought up that's I find a little concerning is that there is no map for the game, and I have to wonder if that was an oversight from the dev team, or if they had intended for you not to have a map. I hate this room so much. Oh, here's another room I'm gonna hate. Fortunately, it was short, but still. There. Ugh. That's 3 rooms in a row that just piss me off. And then another thing that kind of caught me about Blue Fire is the aesthetic of the game. Now, graphically, it's a very low poly art style. It almost looks cel shaded, although I'm pretty sure it is. That was not smart. Okay, I tried to front load the difficulty, but all of the BS rooms came right at the end. Oh, hey, look at that! More nitroglycerin barrels. Hey, can we stop with the nitroglycerin barrels now? Why are they everywhere? Okay, she really does not want to upgrade these last two. Like, seriously, Iris, what's going on here? She has like a vendetta against Burn Cycle and Seismic Entry. Now, some people might be against that kind of like low poly art style because it's like, oh god, it's so lazy. Yeah. Now, I don't feel the same way. I feel as though that makes the game, that kind of endears the game and gives it a more, for lack of a better word, immortal quality. Now, I know that's kind of an odd thing to say, so allow me to explain. There's lots of games out there that want to be on the absolute cutting edge graphic, and Capcom's newest entries into the Devil May Cry and Resident Evil series come to mind first, because these are games that, yeah, they look great, don't get me wrong, but they're also games that, given a couple of years' time, they're going to start to look really dated and weird. And the reason for that is because when you're trying to stay on the cutting edge of graphics technology at all times, and it's hard to do. That goalpost is constantly moving. Or another way to put it is when you're trying to walk the razor's edge, it's very thin and you run the risk of falling off. And this is no exception. Oh, Pathfinder's knapsack. I am interested because that's falling right along with the percentage of map cleared thing. So let's go ahead and fight the boss. That was a beautiful fight. Alright, yeah, we'll take a little bit of damage to pick that up. And now that's double incentive to make sure that we're exploring the entire map. Oh, wrong button. That was not smart. Mistakes were made. Yeah, she really just has a vendetta against my last few Arcana that need upgrading. Like, this is ridiculous. So you don't understand. Burn Cycle killed my father. What was your father doing so close to a wandering monk? Like, was he insulting the monk's mother? But like I was saying, it's very difficult to stay on the cutting edge of graphics technology or technology in general. But when you're an indie dev, you have certain limitations that, you know, can't be worked around because you can't just throw all your money at the problem. And thus, when you're developing games as a developer, you have to work within your limitations, which means that you get more creative use out of what it is you're developing. Or rather, I should say, what you're developing with, because you can't just throw all your money at whatever it is you're trying to do. You have to come up with better solutions, more interesting workarounds to make what you're trying to do work. Hey. Hey, what the actual fuck is going on here? You can hear me slamming buttons. Okay. That was awful. Hey, that was legit not my fault. If I didn't have Sleepy Thunderstone, I'd be dead right now. Like, there are definitely things that happen that throw me off, but then when that happens, that just takes me out of the experience. And it's not the developer's fault at all. That seriously, my controller said, you know what? Fuck you. Because you were talking about insulting monks' mothers, you don't get to finish your run. But what does that have to do with you, controller? I don't understand. My father was a monk, and his mother was a saint, and I'll not hear you talking about these people like that. Alright, well Alright, well, disaster averted, I guess, but, I mean, that shouldn't have happened in the first place. Oh, toy train! What do you do? Oh, okay. That's just as pointless as this, honestly. And yeah, I know Iris doesn't have anything I want because she's, you know, taking a stand against my martial arts ways. I must know an illegal form of kung fu, or I've broken too many rocks. And she's like, nope, that's it. I have to take a stand. Beautifully done. We have the strength of 1,000 dragons. We can never lose. I'm gone. And that should be a cautionary tale right there. Never underestimate your enemy. Hubris is oftentimes your worst enemy in games like this. Just because you're strong doesn't mean you're impervious. There we go. Perfect. Oh, now she's willing to upgrade them. Huh. What a load of crap that is. Okay, well. Let's drop these off over here in the hallway, because I'm not going to be using them. I'll take Mirror Shield, and even though she can't poison, I'll definitely take my fairy friend with me. And you know, based entirely on principle, I'm going to take this. Because frankly, I feel like you owe me. But no, I'm not going to take the upgrade to Burn Cycle, because one, I'm not even really convinced of this fight. But also, it's just on principle. You went that far out of your way to make sure I couldn't upgrade Burn Cycle, so no, I'm not rewarding you for deciding to change your mind now. Silly woman. Oh, I made an oops. There we go. Oh, thank you. See, good fairy friends are worth a lot, if you ask me. And so is a good lightning stone. So, yeah, I will definitely say this. Your relics make up a really good portion of your run, and sometimes if you have either bad relics or no relics, that can lead to a lot of trouble in a run, so value your relics. Make sure you're treating them like the national treasures that they are, because if you treat them well, they'll treat you well. And that, my friend, is a scientific fact. How is that science? That doesn't even make any sense. You know what? Shut up. I didn't come here to have an argument with you about the scientific method. And on that note, I will say thank you very much for watching. This was a very fun run to make, and whoever suggested the all martial arts run to me, thank you very much. That was actually a lot of fun, and I know part of it is because I got good relics, but the other part of it was just I had a good run, and it was good fun. So that unintentionally rhymed, but you know. For future reference, my links to my social media are in the description of the video. I actually have a section on my Discord server that's all about Wizard of Legend build ideas. If you guys post your build ideas or ideas for runs that you want me to do there, it's much easier for me to credit you in these videos, so try to post them there if you can. And again, I thank you for coming and spending some of your free time with me. It means a lot to me. Do the usual YouTube dance, help my channel get recognized, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you